Sulod na daw mo. Okay, I'm waiting. Yes, I'm entering. What the fuck?
Sana po mamura pa siya lalo kasi mahirap po kasi ang buhay ngayon eh. Lalo po sa pasok na hindi tuloy-tuloy. Pati yung mga bigyan na ng kaming baboy ngayon, iba po ba sa kita?
Dati kasi mami, baboy kasi natin, kaya di ganito mas parang pinulang tayo sa supply. Kasi supply kasi natin ng baboy, galing province sa katawid dagat ako. Kaya ngayon, parang maganda po pag mababa yung baboy, para madaming mga namimili sa akin.
Dito halimbawa sa Commonwealth Market, 35 pesos na raw ang ibinababa ng kada kilo pork chop. Asin at tigil. Ang niyang pork noon umabot sa 320 pesos kada kilo dati, ay nasa 280 na lang. 240 pesos na lang kada kilo ang special ribs at buto-buto na nasa 470 dati. 40 pesos naman ay ibinaba sa kada kilo ng pata at maskara. Bumaba rin daw ang presyo ng kaming baboy ng aabot sa 30 pesos kada kilo sa 10 palengke sa Metro Manila. Maganda po ang supply ngayon ng local pork. Meron ang design mga areas na naka-reformer. Pero kung masaya ang mga tinderong mamimili, kabalik ka rin naman ang sa ilang pag-research.
Ano man ni connecting?
You're on toilet paper in blue. Catches him with a little right as helicopter in.
Gaya eh.
Moises.
Sir.
Sige po.
Wait, sir. Let us pray. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed art thou among women, blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now at the hour of death. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Miss Moises. Before anything
Good
else,
evening, sir.
good evening. I would just like to check your attendance first. For a while. Okay. Reporters, be ready. So, first na mag-present ngayon is ang group ni Bakiran, Moises, and Mr. Bulao. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sige, while waiting for the preparations, I would just like to check the attendance first. Attendance checking everyone. Today is next week pa ba na itong exam, no?
Yes, sir.
Oo, kasi kabilang school exam nila this week. Okay, now, again, attendance checking everyone. Today is September 30. So, happy ang mga may work. Isa may mga working day. Favorite day of the month. Today again is September 30, 2021. Ayun, sinabi na. Nadili biya ako nagtrabaho. Nag-spell na pag kudiri
Charot.
Sir, feeling na ako na yung pa-Gcash karon, sir.
Oo, pila ko si Kuantos, si Mr. Unsani, si Mr. Bulao, o si Mr. Billiones.
Sir Bulaw. Baka naman.
Oo, na-burger ng mga mating balay. Lata lang ninyo guys, yung mag-report si Sir Bulao.
Di pa ang address.
Ala ka niragi ko yan na part-time. So daw? Happy imong network kuan na spinyas. Abi pa na kung kuan ka na niya itong convert sa itong connection. Well, anyways, again, attendance checking everyone. Today is September 30, 2021, Thursday. O, diba? Supposedly, wala tayong klase ngayon. But then again, online tayo, LMS supposedly ngayon. But then again, move na to. Okay, Agilon, Bakiran, okay. Abi na, tanawa, nakatingin si Miss Bakiran. Billiones. Asan si Mr. Billiones?
Commute siya, sir.
Ano ka dara?
Commute.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. Bulao. Si Mr. Bulao.
Present.
Danganon, Jansen. Nandito naman si Mr. Jansen sa kuan. Mr. Danganon, di ba nasa Zoom? Wala. Duran. Formentera. Lazan.
Present, sir.
Noted. Moises.
Present, sir.
Noted. Olarte.
Present, sir.
Noted. Pitin. Wala si Pitino. Polio.
Present.
Noted. Rebaha. Angelo.
Present, sir. Good evening.
Noted. Good evening. Truth. Wala na si Truth. Edu.
Present, sir.
Noted. Mr. Edu. Maspinia. Joseph.
Sir.
Noted. Anramig. Mas Anramig. Wala siya sudod. Sumaya.
Present, sir.
Noted. Marces. Maria Edeta. Si Miss Marces. Oo, happy. Sa mga happy karon si Miss Marces.
Present, sir. Dili pa soldo, sir.
Rojales. Wala na?
Ang soldo.
Oo, maragayay at taga-PNP ron. Pero pag na family, medyo ito lang. Oo. Okay, kinsay wala na tawag? Kinsay wala na. Oo, kinsa na si Lazar. Danganon. Naman si Danganon, no?
Apa.
As Danganon.
Sir.
Okay. Kinsa pa wala natawag? I suppose everyone is being mentioned during the attendance checking everyone. Guys, so for tonight, so expectedly, as mentioned last night, we will be preparing the night to be, dali lang. Kinsa ganing grupo ron? Group 3, 4, and
Yes, sir.
5. So magsugod ta sa grupo ni Miss Bakiran, Miss Moises, and Mr. Bilao. Now, group number 4 will prepare a question. Sila po yung mag-critic. Okay? You may now take the floor. Group number 3. Good luck.
Sir eh.
Wait lang, sir, ah.
Sige po, take your time.
Sir, doon na ako UPF.
Check para check.
Share screen ko. So, good evening, sir and classmates. So, all I would like to introduce myself. I'm Mr. Moises. We're here tonight to talk about computer hardware. So, in this section, Group 3 of Mr. Bala, Ms. Pakilan, and Ms. Moises, we will explain further the function of basic hardware components in the PC or a system unit.
Sandali po. Pa-function 5 na lang po para makita ang buong po.
Sir?
Function 5 po or doon sa slideshow.
Right. Ako una. Si ano da, sir?
Good evening, everyone. Tonight I will discuss the computer hardware. The term
Oh. Wait.
Kuya Claude, okay na? Kuya,
Ay, parang may ano pa sa technicality. So just wait for the presentation.
Share na ko ang one. Screen ako. Kina, Kiran.
good evening, everyone. Tonight I will discuss the computer hardware. The term hardware refers to the various components that make up a PC. This term is used generally to indicate any part of the PC that can be physically touched. This section explains the function of the basic hardware components of the PC. Relationship between hardware and software. Hardware and software are mutually dependent each other. Both of them must work together to make a computer, produce a useful output. Software cannot be utilized without supporting hardware. Hardware without a set of programs to operate upon cannot be utilized and it's useless. To get a particular job done on the computer, relevant software should be loaded into the hardware. Hardware is a one-time expenses. Software development is very expensive and it's coming continue expense. Different software application can be loaded on a hardware to run different jobs. A software acts an interface between the user and the hardware. Lastly, if the hardware is the heart of the computer, then the software is the soul. Both are complementary to each other. That's all. Kuya, ikaw na.
Okay. Hello? Check. Bago ko magsugod, sinsahin ninyo akong tingog ha, kay murag bulol gamay. Akong dila,
Okay lang
murag
po.
nakuha na. Magsugod ko sa computer case. This is the part that holds all the internal components to make up the computer itself. And there is a list of computer cases known as form factor. Very small factor supports mini ITX motherboard. Small form factor supports micro ATX motherboard. Standard form factor supports standard ATX motherboard. Larger form factors support ATX and XL ATX motherboard. This is the example of motherboard. First of all, you have to know that without a motherboard, there is no computer. Motherboard is the major board which all components are connected together. The motherboard holds the microprocessor, memory chips, RAM, ROM, expansion slots for power connectors, and any other microchips required for the PC to function. That is why it calls motherboard. Allows other parts to interact. Motherboard has several ports that you can insert, connect to components like RAM, graphics card, power packs, and so on. Here's some the connections, input and output. And this one is also the CPU socket, which hold the processor. And this one is a RAM socket slot, which hold the memory stick. And this is the PCIe 3.0 by 16, which hold the graphics card. And we have also here keyboard and mouse, input and output, 2 times USB 2.0, 1 times HDMI, 1 time DVI, 1 time DisplayPort, Intel Wi-Fi or antenna, and USB port, 4 times USB port, 3.2 generation 1, and also the LAN card here, audio jacks, 3 times audio jacks. And here we have a front panel for the power and reset connectors. You can see it here. And also the SATA port. We have here SATA port 6 times. And we have here for the M.2 connectors connection. Here for the case 3.0 connectors. And this one is for NVMe M.2 slot here. The other is we have here we have a COM port, USB port, and for audio port for the casing. That's all for the motherboard. And also we have different kinds of motherboard. Like I mentioned from the casing, this is the standard ATX motherboard and micro ATX motherboard, mini ITX motherboard, nano ITX, Pico ITX motherboard. Here you can see all the dimensions, sizes for this kind of motherboard. Next, the CPU, which is the brain of the computer. CPU means Central Processing Unit. The CPU is basically like the brain of computer. It processes all the information on computation level. It takes information from the RAM and processes it to perform the task required from the computer. Next, we have memory RAM, random access memory. We have four kinds of generation: DDR1, DDR2, DDR3. Now we have DDR4 on the latest generation. RAM is a data storage device that can provide fast read and write. Prepare your manual guide, your motherboard. Next, we have the graphics card. Is the video card. The graphics card process the data from the motherboard and sends the appropriate information to the monitor for it to be displayed. Graphics card can also be referred to as video card or a display card. It takes the burden of all the video processing from the main CPU. This gives the computer a big boost in performance. Graphics cards use is specially designed to optimize graphics performance, especially if you are a gamer or making some video or call this rendering like that. Video card is very important. And we have also the DVD player. And DVD drive is a digital versatile disk or digital video disk is used for storing and playing music, film, or information. It's also used to install an application. You can also use it to copyright data out of your computer to an empty disk. Next, solid state drive, also known as SSD, is also a type of hard drive. It can also be used as boot drive to run the operating system from it, but doesn't have any moving parts, same like USB. Uh, Flash drive. It consists of bank of flash memory that can hold a reasonable amount of data. However, the SSD is a high performance drive. It's faster 10 times than the hard drive and cannot be easily damaged by dropping it or taking a few knocks. That's why I always recommend for my clients to upgrade their computers where possible to use SSD. I think Miss Bakiran will continue this three reports here. Bakiran,
Sir, accept daw siya, sir.
wala siya?
Excuse, sir. Wala ya.
Ay, sige po. Noted.
Accept. Thank you.
Hindi pala. Check sa Zoom. Thank you. Okay na po.
Ano siya, Desiree? Bakiran? Online continue ni.
Kung
Anak siya
continue, baka
i-accept daw. Wait,
mag-focus siya.
Kaya, i-continue na lang ya.
Huwag mo na, kaya kapag Wala siyang report, wala siyang grado. Kawawa naman din.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Miss Bakiran, parang nandito na siya sa Zoom. Loading pa. Connecting. Parang nawala yung internet connection. Si Miss Bakiran yung kanina?
Yes, sir.
Guys,
Nawala yata si Miss Bakiran.
sir, hindi ko po ready, sir.
Doon sa kadaraan kuan ng Mastinias. Miss Bakiran.
Hindi naman sila tan, sir. Kami daw ang sunod sa group 4.
Miss Bakiran.
Kung may problema, kapag siya sa signal, sir.
Miss Bakiran.
Sir, basig mo ba sa sir mo na nga dili ko anong signal? Dili stable.
Yun, delete stable. Sige na lang po. You may now continue, Mr. Koan, Mr. Bulao, since again, nakastart naman din si Miss Bakiran. Thank you.
Sir, we continue, classmates. Now in the hard drive. A hard drive is found in most computers. It's usually a mechanical drive that stores all data. Apart from storing data, it can also be used as boot drive to run the operating system from it. An operating system is a software program that makes the computer usable, like Microsoft Windows, for example. The biggest vulnerability of the mechanical drive, it is physically fragile in nature. So pag mabundak din siya ka isa, ano pagdahon mo 100% pang functionality. Power supply, PSU. A power supply mounts inside the computer case. This converts the AC main supply from the wall socket and supplies the correct DC voltage to all the components inside the computer. A computer power supplies the following voltage. Positive 3.3 volts. This voltage is supplied to the motherboard. Positive 5 volts. This voltage is supplied to the motherboard and other internal components. Positive 12 volts. This voltage is supplied to the motherboards and other internal components. Negative 12 volts. This voltage is supplied to the motherboard. You get different wattage ratings for power supplies. The higher the wattage, the higher the electrical current that can be made available to the parts that need it. The higher you go in watts, the more power supply will be likely to cost. Heatsink or cooling system for the CPU and the motherboard. A component designed to lower the temperature of an electronic device by dissipating heat to the surrounding air. A heatsink without fan is called a passive heatsink. Heatsinks are generally made of an aluminum alloy and often have pins. There are also different types of cooling system like liquid cooling. Cmos Battery. Complementary metal oxide. Cmos is a motherboard backup battery CR2 2032 as the black BIOS battery, which remember BIOS settings, PC configuration, time, and date. As the BIOS, small one. A set of computer instructions and firmware or a program which control input and output operations, also known as the system BIOS of the PC or PC BIOS. Backplate, I/O backplate, alternatively referred to as I/O template. The input-output plate is a thin removable metal plate that protects the back of the computer and give access to the I/O device like USB. The bus. Computing is in computing, a bus is defined as a set of physical connections, for example, cables, printed circuit, etc., that can be shared by multiple hardware components in order to communicate with one another. The purpose of the bus is to reduce the number of the pathways needed for communication between the components by carrying out all communication over a single data channel. Is why the metaphor of data highways sometimes is used. This for the example of all the computer hardware you can see in the computer, old and new computer. That's all, sir.
Thank you. Nice
I hope
presentation.
you like it.
Sige po. Asang part ito ni Miss Koan? Ni Miss... Sige ganito. Moises.
Katundang kwan, sir. Sa
Yan,
sa
naman
Pilipit.
gipasok ka man, sir.
Hala ka, kaya nga nangitak ko. Asa? Naman si Miss Moises. Wala kay present Miss Moises?
Anya, sir, sa question, sir.
Okay. Sige. Ikaw mag-entertain.
Naman sa question na, sir. Nagbahin mo, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Sige, I think Mr. Duran. Mr. Duran, I think Mr. Duran po is na ay question. Mr. Duran.
Wait lang, sir.
Take your time po.
Tara akong question. Hello?
Yes po.
What is computer hardware?
Computer hardware.
Sige daw po. Parang hindi na masyado na-emphasize ni Kohan. Ano daw ang computer hardware? Or in your own words na lang, Miss Moises, what is computer hardware by the way?
So, what is computer hardware? Computer is programmable machine if the integral part of everybody life.
I mean, in your own words po, what is computer hardware by the way? Kapag kasabot niyo po sa inyong na-assign na topic, what is computer hardware?
Answer the term hardware kana sa PC good mag-indicate siya part of the PC that can be physically touched. That's right.
Yun ang keyword. Ang katong keyword akong gihulat. Kung yung kag hardware, guys, it is the physical component of a computer. Right? Physical means inyo siyang magunitan physically, and then it is, I think, the important part sa computer na without it, hindi siya mabuo ang computer. No? Okay? Another question, Mr. Mr. Duran, yung ano naman.
Okay, sir. Dala lang.
Sige po, while waiting for Mr. Duran, I think si Mr. Billones, na-assign question, Mr. Billones.
Yes, sir.
Ay,
What are the different functions of computer with regards to the hardware? Please cite at least one or two examples.
A computer does the following function is accepting data and processing data, storing data, and displaying data. About siya, sir.
Mr. Billones, okay na sa'yo yung sagot.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Duran?
Sir, okay. Now, how is a mini computer different from a mini frame?
So, mini computer is a mid-sized multi-processing and multi-user computer. It is also called mid-range server, but mainframes are huge computers most commonly occupying entire rooms or floor. It is highly cost. Sir.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Duran. Thank you, Miss Moises. Aha na si Miss Bakiran. Wala pa niya kasulod sa Zoom.
Dili stable yung connection, sir.
Okay.
Kay
We
wala
are
man gid siya sa
very
iya.
Sir, naanak ko.
Ay, okay na nandiyan. Sige, Miss Miss Bakiran, what is your additional, in addition, what is, kung sa'yo madungang nimo sa inyong presentation po?
Wala na po.
Lahat naman na-mention. Kanina, this is just a comment regarding the presentation. Yun lang, hindi siya na full screen, kumbaga yung slideshow ng kuan. Bawit na lang next time. Aside from that, more on yung presentation, given, kasi more on advanced yung napakita na, sandali, sa ganito. Sa mga pictures, for example.
Sir, lamig kayo lang mga pisa, sir.
Yun. Kaya nga, mas sila upgraded version. Baka hindi naman ma-relate yung sa iba for a while. Okay. Now, this is actually the basic. Basic lang po ito, kumbaga, kahit sa yung mga baratukon, kasi ang gipakita galing na grabe. Parang yun na ang pinakakuan. Isa sa mga kuan, no? Tama ba ko, Mr. Bulao? Oo. Tinakita kanina. Oo, I think katong mahalo na dito yung mga dili na to makita kahit dito at saka ng PesoNet and so on. But anyways, this is just the basic na kanang which composed sa isa ka system unit, guys. Again, this is a system unit. Ito po, baka sabihin niyo CPU again, ha? So, ulitin ko po, that is a system unit which composed, awanin siya ayahang checklist. So, dapat na siya yung motherboard. So, in order for your computer to function well. Okay. Napo na siya yung processor or kanang ginatawag nato na CPU. Asa ba nadapit ang CPU, guys? So, CPU is located diri. So, this is a CPU socket. So, katong daghan kaayog pin. Pila ka pin ang usual sa isa ka CPU, Mr. Bulao? Na-count ba? Hello? Hello? Napa ba ako sa Zoom? Hello, guys.
Sir.
Sir.
Kita pa siguro.
Okay. Now, sige, while waiting for Mr. Bulao, I think na sila yung data. Aside from that, di ba, sa usual natong makuan, so we have power supply. So, diri nag-agipod ang kanang kuan, source sa electricity sa to ang computer components or the system unit. DVD and CD room, dili na kayo nato siya, very kuan na ni kayo, dili na kayo siya nato makita sa karon. But before, naani siya nag-exist. Now, aside from that, si floppy disk, kinsa pa'y nakaabot ni floppy disk? Napabad dirian, nakaabot ang floppy disk?
Ako, sir. Abot ka na, sir.
Tayo na siya, Mr. Mag-minute na.
Okay.
Charot lang. Well, anyway.
MS-DOS pa to sana, sir.
Yun, MS-DOS pa ang ginagamit. So, kumingkag 32 MB, dako na kayo ng 32 MB sa una, muna na isang 1 terabyte. Tama ba ko? Or kasi nakaabot ako 8 MB, 2 MB. So, ang floppy disk kasi is kanang siya, muna siya kanang sending ipaslak nimo siya sa dirian sa floppy drive. So, ang tawag ko ning kuan is a floppy drive, kani siya. And we also have, again, ang kani siya is what we call, sa ganit term ani, Mr. Bulao. Ang gikuan ako si Mr. Bulao is na, mas tinod gani na na-assign sa ilaha kay si Mr. Bulao is actually selling computer parts or nag-build po din sila. Tama ba ko, Mr. Bulao?
Sir, apo ko yung internet sir.
Yun. Wow, na-internet na nag-function na siya balik karon.
Oh, correct. Tago man akong lugar.
Oo, tago lang mo wala may PNP dili na sulod. Ay na
Ako uban na branch, gipa-close yun ako.
Ay sana o dagang brand.
Nakayupat ka branch.
Okay. Sige po. Pila ang isa ka kuan? Pila ang cost sa isa ka computer?
Para sa ako, sir, mga 18 siguro. Kay
18,000.
nag-upgrade man ko og 8 na one
Wow.
system unit, 8 na G5 400 lang ang processor.
Oh, fire na siya. Nice na build. Anyways, again, excuse me. Naanan siya yung memory food, guys. So, memory, we have two kinds of memory, RAM and ROM. So, RAM is random access memory and ROM, read-only memory. Nakatong ipakita ka ganina, nadagan kayong memory, that is what we call read-only memory. For a while, this is RAM. Natong room na to. Ayun. Tama di ay, yung BIOS, guys, is what they call basic input and output system, which is actually wala na emphasize ganina. BIOS is what kanang makita ninyo the time na mag-on na ang computer. Di ba, nanan siya ikuan? And ma-access ninyo ang BIOS sa inyong computer by pressing del, di ba? Delete.
Delete, escape, F1.
Now, unsa ba na sa BIOS?
Program, sir.
Yun, program siya, which is, kumbaga, nag-blue screen na siya dira. Naadira sa BIOS, guys, ang sequence sa inyong hard drive and floppy drive kung asa ang sa iyahang tawagan ni naka-priority, nag-bootable devices, kumbaga. And also, ang pinakakuan is the time. The updated time sa imuhang computer, which is ang problem, usual problem pag ang BIOS is kanang murag dili na siya na lobat ba ang term or guba na ang
expire battery, sir.
Yun, expire na ang battery is that ang date niya every time magpalong, kasi ako naka-experience ko ani before kasi sa akong laptop na pag makuha na imuhang display sign nga kung dili na siya ma-update, kumbaga kada time na magpalong ka unya maibot siya sa kuan, maibot siya sa outlet imuhang ni charger, makuan siya, ma-change imong date, matingala ka maabot na lang kag 2010, 1990 and so on. So ano siya, so mao na siya ang isa sa akong nakuan dati. Hard drive, kato siya, tama siyang na-mention sa hard drive, guys.
Oh, ko ba?
Matagak, madaot ang hard drive, so malfunction na siya. Especially katong naay mga laptop, I suggest you need to take care of your laptop kasi inside your laptop, guys, is a hard drive. Mao na siya nga kung magbuba ang hard drive, takig ba yung ka-expression? Naka-experience yung kung pailis sa hard drive. So, medyo dito ato sang angkingan. Sa power supply, so I think na-deliver naman din yung power supply kanina with a update, katong minute siya na kani was 40 on. Okay, this is just the application. Now, I want you to study the parts of the kanang sa ato ang motherboard. This is the motherboard, right? Number 8 is the socket for
Mouse man, sir. Keyboard. Mouse or keyboard?
Yes, kanin sila si 8 ug 18 is asa diri ang si mouse?
Green.
14, yes. And kaning violet is for keyboard. Sa karon kasi na generation, still nag-exist na siya but useless na siya kasi ang sa may nahitabo, gamit na ang USB na port for keyboard and mouse.
Na ang motherboard po tuban, sir, isa niya
sige.
PS2 na keyboard ug mouse.
Pabugnaw sa na ha.
Oo,
Isa niya, pwede ka magsaksak ng keyboard, pwede mo ka magsaksak ng
mouse. Yun. Now, ang wala na kayo, dili na kayo tumapansin kanin siya, kaning si pink. This is for printer. Nakaagip ako ani si that matrix. Kani siya, si printer. Kani siya ang usual na ito magagamit, especially kung naka-online class kayo. So, ang uban kay naa sa tubangan nagasaksak sa ilahang kuan sa ilahang headset or headphone. Usual na magagamit na to kaning kuan, kaning green. Kaning green is for earphone. This pink is for the kuan microphone. And this blue is for kuan. I think sound ni siya. Di ko familiar aning blue.
Line in yata yan, sir.
Yun.
Line
Ay,
in.
tawag na line in. Sige. You need to familiarize this one, ha? So, dili na ko rin siya ipa-activity sa inyo, ha? Para at least maunta ni. But, for reference, andito dito sa taas. Nakita ninyo, di ba? Kasi nag-scan. Basta nang inyong istadihan, guys, inyo ng report, ha? Lahat po tayo mag-study sa buong kuan module. Ito po yung saan. Yung isa, ayun. So, dara nga, PS2 or keyboard. So, nasa sa taas, guys, ha? Basta matingala mo. So, this is just your guide. Familiarize and memorize kasi one thing is for sure, baka maglabas ito sa exam. Question. Before tayo mag-move o mag-shift sa other or sa next reporter or presenter. Questions po. Napapamudara o ba si nanay natulog, ha?
Sir.
Oo,
Question,
natulog.
sir.
Sige, Mr. Ed, what is your question?
Mas okay ba gamiton ang SSD sa karon, sir, no, kaysa hard drive?
Yun. Actually, nasabi na ito ni Mr. Bulao.
Yes,
Especially, I want nga kanang magikan sa kay Mr. Bulao since again, si Mr. Bulao is, I think more on kanang nasa hardware sa when you talk about computer. Mr. Bulao, if you're going to choose between SSD and the katong sa hard disk, asa yung
SSD ka, 10 times faster than hard drive.
Yun. So,
Sa
from
booting
the
time pa lang, sir, nasa mga 10 seconds ang booting niya.
yun, di ba ang iyang medyo paspas si SSD kaysa kay hard drive.
Ako, sir, nako yan, pwede.
Sige daw, ansa.
Para sa ako ang i-set up sa akong PC, sir, kay pang work man eh. So, akong OS, ipabutang na ko sa SSD. Kaya tanang mga important files, ibutan ako sa hard disk.
Oh, nice idea. So, you have both. Tama ba ka, Mr. Billones?
Yes, sir. Murag dili sa kailangan i-partition kay nasa Picas drive ang mga files para pag madaot ang OS, pag reformat, dili madama yung files.
Yun. At least naka-backup na dayon. So, dili naka-mag-kuhan.
Yes, sir.
Nice idea.
Sir, ang SSD, dugay madaot ang OS niya. Dugay siya makurap.
Okay. Any tips na imong mahatag sa imong mga classmate, Mr. Bulao, especially nakakadut sa field na katong mag-build of computer? Especially those wala pa yung magkuhan na nagaplano magpalit ng computer sa imong masasya.
SSD ko to, sir. Nagamit ko na to. Kung na-budget, imdat to, hindi mi.
Kana ang lami.
Napalong ko dito na pa. Nagtakig naman kayo ng presyo.
Diba ka napalit siya sa 1.7 yata?
Then Core i9 dayon, Core i9. Sabayan og Core i9.
Oo. Mr. Bulao, kung standard lang na gamit sa kuan, and then minimal na game, unsa na computer specs, especially for the processor, imong masuggest?
Pwede na, sir. G5 400 na processor sa Intel.
Pila na siya ang value?
Nasa, kung siya karon, sir, 3.5. Sa wala pa pandemic, 2.8 lang siya.
Pandemic, di ba? Nag-effect na yung pandemic.
Pati motherboard.
Sige, nice ang kuan. Thank you, Mr. Bulao. Thank you, Miss Moises and Miss Bakiran. A round of applause, please, for our presenter. So, let's move. Mag-shift na tayo. I think the most awaited presentation from Mr. Billones and Mr. Duran. So, you may now take the floor. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. God bless.
Mag-share screen ako. Wait lang, Kita ninyo guys.
Kapag
Ito gani.
Pampawala nag-stress sir sa work.
Okay.
Mev, paki-unmute Mev. Ready na ka?
Oh, okay na. Hello.
Oh, copy ka. 5x5.
Let's go.
Kita nyo guys? Itom?
Yes po.
Okay. So, good evening everyone. My name is Marco.
And my name is Maverick. And we're going to present our topic.
System software. Play sa tag video para lingaw. Okay, so our topic for tonight or our presentation will be about system software. Madungog ko ninyo?
Yes, klaro kayo.
Thank you. So, first, if you ask a person who doesn't know anything about computers and they will see the word system software, they will ask you, kani IT ni siya. What is system software? So, let us first define it in simple terms. So, these are programs that are responsible for controlling, integrating, and managing hardware components. So, bago lang tayo nag-discuss og hardware, so murag familiar na tani gamay. So, simply put, if the computer is on, then the system software is running. Nakuha ba?
Guys. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. So, we will now differentiate hardware versus software. So, earlier we learned that hardware is physical components of the computer, anything that can be touched in a computer system. So, what is software? Software consists of instructions or programs instructing a computer what tasks to perform and how to perform them. So without software, a computer will not perform any functions and it will be simply a useless machine. However, you mentioned ni Sir ganina na nasa i-add. So, nakoy question sa class, kung walay operating system or walay OS ang inyong computer nga bagong palit, na ba siya yung software o wala? Who says yes and who says no? Kaya point sir.
Wala.
Wala.
Depende kung
Sige po, I will give this is part of your oral dissertation.
For example, bagong palit inyong computer, tapos niingon ang vendor nga wala ni siya yung OS, pero kompleto siya pyesa. So ang pangutanan nako is na ba siya system software o wala? Kung wala yung operating system.
Pero dili siya utilize. Wala siya di siya mapuslan tanan.
Duha ang nag-answer sir, na yes or na po'y no, tama ba?
BIOS is a software, right?
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
So the answer is yes. We call it BIOS. So BIOS means basic input and output system. So basahan sa nako ni. So the BIOS software has a number of different roles, but its most important role is to load the operating system. When you turn on your computer and the microprocessor tries to execute its first instruction, it has to get that instruction from somewhere. So it cannot get it from the operating system because the operating system is not located on the hard disk or the SSD. And the microprocessor cannot get to it without some instructions that tell it how. So the BIOS provides those instructions. So simply put, kaning BIOS naani siya sa sulod sa chip nga naa sa board. Muna siya pag on mo sa computer, muna siya ang una mohatag og instruction sa central processing unit. So inaani ang itsura sa BIOS. Makita ninyo. Mao na siya ang BIOS. So diha nimo makontrol kung tahay mag-load ka og kuan OS. So naana diri nga setting katong first nimo nga i-boot nga drive. So dito na siya magikan ang OS. I think kabalo si Mr. Edo ani kung naga-install mo kuan OS. Tama ba si Mr. Edo?
Yes,
Thank
correct.
you. Karon kung rich kid mo, inanang itsura sa inyong BIOS. Oh, di ba? Atsyog
Na-rise.
kayo.
AMD.
Oh. Okay, so natay na mga pangutana so far, na wala na subtitle, kailangan ipa-explain. Proceed na ta ha. Next slide. Okay, so now we know what hardware and software is. I will explain how they work. So naatay mura chart dire. Tara. So kani siya nga computer system architecture layers gikan sa salamat sa learncomputerscienceonline.com ug sa atong very innocent looking model dire.
Yes, innocent.
Okay, so naa diri ang atong hardware which is na-report na sa group 3. So ang amuang part sa report is kaning system software o ang mga application programs. So for example, ang mouse. Ang mouse is being controlled by the device drivers which is also working with the system utilities and the operating system para mag-run ang application program. So I will just explain sa mga pagpala niya kaday lang. Ala. Mag-stop share sa ko ha.
Ako sini mga view diri ha, ako delikado.
I-close na ako ang animation, balik na ako. Ano, walang zoom. Tara, wait lang ha. Full screen, share screen. Okay, makita na ninyo? So explain ako, example lang sa mouse. So right now, I'm moving my mouse. This is being controlled by the driver of the mouse. So let's say you want to open an application. So I will choose Spotify. So the device driver will recognize that the user wants to open the Spotify app and will work with the system utilities and software so that the application will run. So double click na to. Ay, sana. Okay, nana siya dire. So, ang next kay music man ang next nga i-control sa mga device driver is ang sa sound. So, sample i-click na to ni play siya. Oh, party. Okay. So now gusto sa user nga i-close na ang application, so i-close na to. So mo to siya ang mga function kung paunsa mag-work ang hardware o ang software. Karon gi-demonstrate na ko to kay para sa ako ang next na explanation. Okay, makita niyo yung screen?
Yes.
Okay, so adto ta karon sa types of software. So naatay system software. We also have application software. So by the time you turn on your computer, the system software will run. However, the application software will not run unless the user will click it or open it. So ang start-stop niya, the application software, it will start and stop if the user wants it to. However, the system software will keep running in the background until you shut down your computer. Okay ba?
Yes.
Thank you. So next, under system software, we have two basic types of software. We have the operating system, which will be discussed by the next group, and we also have the utility programs. So ato na siyang i-describe karon. So types of system software, we have the operating system and utility programs. So operating system is basically a program that coordinate the resources and activities on a computer. It also provides interface